Morning, peoples. It's Monday morning, and basically, yeah, I've been scratching on my own car for a little bit. But let's just give you a little insight on the minute little changes I did to my car. It actually made a hell of an impact. Because I've been chasing gremlins on this car now for the past 6 months since I own it. Obviously, as you're driving it, you notice certain things. Some things get better, and certain things are like now and then you're acting up. So, the initial investigation around that. So when I bought the car, she was smoking because of oil. So obviously her compression was through the roof. I I never actually experienced this much power out of a little 1.6. Um, for clarity, I drive a 1.6 GSI limited edition. That's the Opel Corsa B. To think that something as small as a throttle positioning sensor can have you have power loss within your ref range, meaning from pull away to 3000 you have max power, right? And from 3000, where your map sensor starts to activate your second stage, you have a little bit of a bog, and then it gives you full power again. But by then you've lost not just fuel consumption, but you are pulling back on power, and then it gives you power. So your car is not being completely efficient at the moment. So basically, just changing this is giving me a little bit more power output. And because 90% of the components in my car are still OEM at 450,000 kilometers, I am changing some components. Yes, there is a new one, and it's the one that says made in Brazil. I've tested these ones, they work, they're not a problem. Yes, you do find these ones at Volkswagen, they do work. I haven't actually bought these at Volkswagen. I don't use them from Volkswagen. This is the OEM ones. I'll flip you guys and you can show you there's a code on there, and there's a CTS, the R22, and a number 3. So the one on my car right now is a number 4. And the 22 number becomes a 21 number. So that is a younger version of this one. So that one's off the Opel Corsa C. So it's a newer model vehicle setup. They all work, especially these ones. Astra G, Astra H. You guys that's international will know it as a Mark 5 and a Mark 6. Actually, Mark 4, sorry. Mark 4 and a Mark 5. That is what you guys know it as. The 16-valve Ecotec engine, the first gens came out with the exact same TPS and the exact same idle control valve, including a map sensor like this one. Same technology is used amongst the 3 models. 2 models actually, this one and the Astra G. But let me flip you guys how. I want to show you guys where everything's located and what's important to check for when it comes to loss of power. So a lot of people will ask me a lot of questions. I'm not on this platform. I'm not just on this particular one on YouTube. I'm also a TikTok content creator. Now I've moved from TikTok to do longer videos on YouTube, just mainly because you can explain a lot more and show a lot more about the vehicle. TikTok only allows you to make about a 10-minute video, and that's only since now recent. And yeah, TikTok's structured completely different to the setup. I prefer YouTube right now because it's just more convenient, it's easier, and it's friendlier. That is why I'm here. I hope what I'm about to show you guys is helpful to some of you. I'm gonna do going through a lot of things. I didn't bring my phone stand today. I'm at the workshop. One of my opponents didn't show up, so I'm actually just explaining on my vehicle quickly, because I am changing the map sensor, and I already did the throttle positioning sensor. I already fitted that one, and then I also changed my induction pipe. I'm used to using the OEM components, my OEM pipes and things are still over there. but since I've been using the cone filter setup, I've been actually liking the sound it makes. I regularly change them out. So normally you ouch. Normally you would clean these filters, but I just swapped them out. They're cheap enough. I'll maybe wash them once, and that's about it. And then, well, then I don't still clean them. I live in South Africa. I live close to the beach, and most of the time we're on the beach roads, and that sand tends to create holes in these filters. But let me flip you guys quickly, and then do a little bit of explanation, and also might change the sensor while I'm in here. I can't put you down in the holder because the holder's not here. I actually forgot it at home. Tiny little engine, I know. It's only got 4 bangers. So on the basis of where it comes to, let's start with overfueling. I still have a lot of questions. People still ask me a buttload of questions. I specialize in fuck-ups when it comes to these particular engines. So when it comes to any overfueling issues that you guys would have on this particular engines, no, that is not a map sensor. That is only a cold air intake sensor. That's about it. So you can drive without this in and have it even plugged out. The management light will stay on. It won't affect the vehicle, at least not that much. On this one it would affect it, but on a 1.4, 1.3 you don't actually notice the power drop or difference. Let's do a little bit of a close-up on this one. And lighting is an issue. Your idle valve on the front side of it will say assembled in Mexico. That is the exact words that's on there. So that will give you an indication that it's OEM. And then your TPS. Notice the code on there, 06681. Then I have a C.0372. The CTS on top, or the R, is important. That will tell you when it's a OEM one. And then the 22. This particular number 3, it means Corsa B. That's this model. And then when it has a number 2 or number 4 over there, it means the Corsa C, which is the model after this one. And then the last one is basically the same like this one. The Astra G has the old technology of the Astra and the Corsa. So your Mark 2s and 3s will have basically the same sensors as this one. There's nothing wrong with mine, but because I have a newer version of the same thing, I will be fitting this one today just for testing purposes. I know what my car drives like after yesterday, so I just want to replace that one. And yes, whoever owned the car before me, they broke that already. And these will just be 2 10s over here, plastic 10s. Yeah, in real life it wouldn't be this loose. I've removed it a few times, and then the only thing is you gotta plug it out. That's it. So this is the OEM one. You can see it's OEM because of the code over there. So this is one of a Astra 466. Yeah, that's an Astra's one. I've changed this already. So that means this car's original one, like this one, is my daughter's car. Because when we bought her car, this was the one that was fitted to a car. Now I just have the habit of putting all OEM components to a car. This is my own car, so I can do testing on it. But if this was a client, I would have fitted a OEM one like this one. Even though it's secondhand, component still works perfectly fine. And the easiest way for you to test this little pipe that you pulled out, you unplug it on this side, you leave this all plugged in, and then you got to plug that hole when you start the vehicle. So this will be hanging open. So the moment you create vacuum on that pipe by just sucking on it, the revs of the vehicle will drop. That confirms that the sensor works. It's the simplest and easiest way to confirm that the sensor works. So that's the new one on. Installation is quite easy. You gotta slide it back up there, and it'll stick there. And that's it. Let's just turn the key. Just move the sensor off the battery. You're gonna ask me, how do you confirm that? Don't blow a gasket. The car's at temp already. But essentially, going past about 3000 RPM, you will know when it's opening on second stage. I want to confirm that quickly. I'm going to pause you guys quickly. I'm going to put a blank off in there. I've got a few blank offs. And let's do a confirmation on the map. What it actually does when you're testing it. Just a blank off. Pipes out. Just hanging there. I'm going to put the blank off in. Now that's blanked off. Now you can start the vehicle. So let's do that test. I'm gonna pull on this. That confirms that. Notice how erratic she's getting. She's under the impression she's in second stage because she's not picking up vacuum. So now pull off the blank off. I can smell the fuel. She's smoking a little bit. She will do that. Now she's plugged back in. And then she's back to normal. So now for those these are old cars, you do still get scan equipment for these cars, but you guys remember there's not a lot of sensors on this car. That's 2, 3, 4. And the fourth one's over there. That's it. This sensor, we don't count as a sensor on the vehicle because it's your pickup. It's what gives you a spark and when the pulse has to happen. So that is not labeled as a sensor to me. Even though it is, I don't count it as a sensor when it comes to the vehicle's normal operations. That is a must function. And these ones are the operational functions of the vehicle, including the cold start. So, yeah. Some people will call it a fan switch, some people will call it cold start, but that's what in South Africa, if you're asking for the cold start on these cars, it's that. But basically, all of these components, when it comes to your sensors, it's got to be OEM. It has to be OEM. Everything else in the engine, you can have pirate components. The thing will survive still. But sensors, fuel relays, fuel pump, all should be OEM. All should be Bosch components or Siemens components, strictly. So when it comes to the overfueling on these particular models, we are going to talk about the overfueling issue in the next video. I need to do it like this because the overfueling is not just a 5-minute explanation video. It's actually, I have to go into depth with it. So basically what I'll do is, with my next client's job that comes in with a overfueling issue, I'll basically document my procedure that I go through when it comes to checking everything. First thing is visual inspection. That's my first thing I do. I do not go for a scan tool. Yes, I own them, but that's not the first thing I go to. I first need to confirm physically, by eyesight as well, what sensors are fitted to the vehicle, and then I take it from there. But I'll take you guys through my entire procedure, and then you'll have an understanding of what I find. Now, I'll probably have to post quite a few of these assessments because all of them is different. On one job, you'll find a timing issue. The next job will also be a timing issue, but in a different way. Like I said, there's many ways around these cars and many issues surrounding the overfueling, and you need to follow protocol when it comes to that.